An 18-year-old in Uvalde, Texas, killed 19 elementary school kids, shot his grandma, killed a school teacher, and there are a lot of questions surrounding what exactly happened and how to prevent this going forward. So let me take a step back. I'm not going to be responding emotionally. I'm going to be responding logically, which is, I think, what people in positions with audiences should do, which is the exact opposite of most of the time what happens on social media, where an event occurs and then everybody reacts emotionally, and emotion governs over rationality. So let me take a step back. I'm a parent. I've got 2 elementary school kids. In fact, if you were listening to the radio show today, my kids got out for summer, my first grader and my 5th grader, in the middle of the radio program today. Nobody else was around to be able to go pick them up, so I had to leave my Clay and Buck radio show, go pick up my kids. On most days, I drive my kids to school virtually every day or walk my kids to school. On many days, I also go pick them up at the end of the school day. I have done that for years. We're fortunate to have a local neighborhood school. The reason why I bring this up is I think a lot about the security inside of a neighborhood school. There is an armed police officer inside of my kids' elementary school. I cannot enter that school in the wake of Columbine, in the wake of Sandy Hook. They have all of the doors locked in the school. I have gone to the school before, having forgotten my driver's license. I'm not allowed into the school, even though I've had kids in that school for a long time, and everybody knows who I am. In order to get into the school, I have to push a button outside. I have to hold up my ID. They then buzz me in, and they then will also allow me in through another door into the office to be able to pick my kids up, to be able to drop my kids off, whatever I am interested in doing. In order to enter the school, I have to go through locked doors. So my first reaction when I hear that another mentally insane individual has decided to take aim at children is, how did this guy get into the school? I still have not heard how this guy got into the school. I still have not heard the details on whether there were armed security inside of the school, and if so, what happened. Those are incredibly important details. From a parental perspective, there is nothing more sickening for me to even think about than something happening to my kids. I can only imagine how awful it feels to have your child's life taken for any reason by an act of violence. I hope that I never have to experience it. Just thinking about it as a parent, as anybody who has kids would know, is utterly devastating. So I cannot imagine, and hope to never even have to think about it in a serious degree, what those parents are dealing with. And I want for parents to never have to deal with this again. Same thing I said after Sandy Hook. Same thing, I was in college when Columbine happened. My pledge to you is I'll never use the shooters' names, okay? I want to actually make tangible actions on myself that will hopefully lead to less of these shootings. What they tell us is that the more we make these shooters famous, the more we incentivize people with broken minds, with major mental health issues, to act out violently like this. So that is what I always pledge. I'm not going to spend time making these guys famous. There are oftentimes cluster shootings around this. We just had Buffalo. I talked about it, said the same thing. I'm not going to make these guys famous, at least using my platform and spreading news about them, okay? So you've heard me talking about it on Clay and Buck. The things that I want to know are tangible. How did the shooter get into the school? Was there armed security there? If not, why was that armed security not able to protect all of the children and all of the adults inside of that school? I want to know the answers to that. Also, there are many other things that I think are legitimate conversations that we can have. It appears that this 18-year-old legally bought both of these weapons that may have been used in this attack. In other words, there was no law broken there. He did break the law, of course, when he brought a weapon to school and when he took the lives of those kids. So my position is every school in America should have an armed police officer inside the school. My own kids have it at their elementary school. I am in favor of it happening everywhere. And I would support that because I think it could be a deterrent from someone who is crazy, that if they know that they are going to be confronted by armed security, they are less likely to try to attack young, innocent children. Okay? Those are the conversations that I think we should be having as the details come out. What we should not be doing, because it is often counterproductive, is reacting emotionally and making choices that actually make things worse. And I'll give you an example. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the George Floyd murder, okay? The reaction to George Floyd by Democrats, goaded on by social media, was to defund the police, to demonize all police. As a result, murder rates have skyrocketed, and the people who are bearing the brunt of those skyrocketing murder rates are overwhelmingly black. So Black Lives Matter protests, which demonize police, actually led to more black lives being lost. Defunding the police actually led to more lives being lost. Arguing that the police weren't to be trusted or that they were the problem led to more lives being lost. That was an emotional response that broke many inner cities and many police departments, okay? So, when I see the immediate turn to politics as soon as any of these events happen, I saw it with Joe Biden last night. I saw it just now with Beto O'Rourke storming into the press conference of Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and interrupting it. And I thought this was an embarrassment. I thought that Beto O'Rourke made himself look like even more what he's already been, which is a politician that has no chance to ever be elected in the state of Texas. If you were on the fence and you were uncertain who you supported in this race, I find it impossible to believe that any Texan is more likely to vote for Beto O'Rourke because he interrupted a press conference where Governor Greg Abbott was sharing all of the latest details surrounding that shooting, and you heard the mayor of that Texas town say that Beto O'Rourke was a son of a bitch and he should be embarrassed, and I agree completely with that mayor. It was disgusting behavior from Beto to immediately try to make this political in nature, okay? What we know is there were a lot of signs that this man was sick in the head. Governor Abbott says the gunman made 3 Facebook posts before the massacre saying, "I'm going to shoot my grandmother. I shot my grandmother. I'm going to shoot an elementary school as well." All of these things were done for attention. That was why it occurred. And so for everybody out there, I think a question that we need to have, and this is a rational, intelligent discussion. Why is this happening now? For generations, we had no school shootings basically that were occurring at all. And then suddenly with Columbine, we have seen a spate of school shootings that happen all the time. What is occurring? What is the sickness? What is the reason why suddenly so many schools are becoming killing grounds? I don't know the answer. I think there are probably a lot of different influences, but I think that's a big discussion that we need to be having.